be the family. You're listening to Black Queens Uncut. Grab your wine, your vape, or whatever you need to relax so we can get into this queen chat. I'm Monique Lovelace. Queens, introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kiki Boom Boom.
Que pasa? I'm TK Trinidad.
And we are talking about Juneteenth. Now, Juneteenth was technically last weekend, but let me tell you, it's a celebration for all week. And we all know why at this point. Because as of last year, I feel like everybody got on board with Juneteenth. Like, we understood that was our Independence Day, as in Black folks. If you're not Black, you should allyship celebrate, not be celebrating like you're Black. Okay? Anyway. So, when did you first find out about Juneteenth? When did y'all know about Juneteenth?
I first heard of Juneteenth. So it's interesting for me. So when I first heard of it is when I was in middle school when I lived in Brooklyn, because I went to a predominantly Black school and lived in a predominantly Black neighborhood. I then moved to Boston in fourth grade. And then that was kind of like, so I didn't hear about it anymore. So it was one of those out of sight, out of mind things. And then when I moved to Boston, my school, I wasn't in a predominantly Black area. I was in a Hispanic area, a white area. And then I got to high school. And even in middle school, like though my school never talked about it, my family talked about it, or I would see things on TV, but it wasn't talked about a lot. It's not until I got like a little older and I started like reading on my own, like high school, college, and then like my 20s. But for middle school, that's when I first heard about it. And then it kind of like went away. And then it came back as I got a little older.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I feel like last year now everybody's kind of on point. I didn't hear about it in school. I don't think they talk. I need to ask my friend. I don't think we really talk about it because being in Canada. But I heard of it maybe a couple of years ago, predominantly through radio. There were like events and stuff through that. But yeah, I feel like it's since last year is now an official like holiday. Like my company, like we're planning like that. We're not even, sorry to my dads out there, but we're planning for Juneteenth. Like Father's Day just, is coming after. So I love it. I love the fact that we're really taking, aspects of history and not the sadder ones, like seriously, and we're educating people, and people who don't look like us are being educated as well.
Yeah, I feel like, when did I learn about Juneteenth? I don't feel like I learned about Juneteenth in school. Like, in like, I feel like I learned Juneteenth when I was like in college, because I was in college in Atlanta. So that totally makes sense. I think that was the first time that I kind of, I think Juneteenth was the first time that I learned about it was in college. It still wasn't really celebrated, but it definitely was talked about, especially being around like HBCUs. And of course, Atlanta is a dominantly Black community population. So it made sense that I learned a lot of Black culture or anything that was kind of like Black history during that time. Because I feel like in high school, my high school was a PWI. It was a predominantly white institution. Middle school, I switched schools. So I did go to the predominantly Black school, and then I switched to like more of a mixed school. And then in elementary, that, I don't know, they just wasn't teaching that type of curriculum in Ohio. I mean, of course it's Ohio. So yeah, college. That's hard to remember. But yeah, I believe it was college.
I think that's for a lot of people, though. I think a lot of people learned about a lot of like our history older in life because these are things that they don't teach us in school. I do know in Brooklyn because we had like a Juneteenth festival like in Harlem. So like I know in New York it's like more talked about. And I can't speak for every place else, but I do know a lot of us black people, we don't really know about our history until we get to college or even out of college or social media, you know? So I think
Mhm.
it's kind of like on brand for us to be like, yeah, we don't know.
Right. And that was like if you were maybe like in a more black populated area, you probably learned a little bit more. But honestly, I don't think if I would have went to OSU or something, I would have learned. Unless there was like a little group of black people there that was like, yay, Juneteenth. But I feel like because of history or like Black History Month, they might have like mentioned it in school because that was a part of emancipation or that was the last part of emancipation. Um, then they probably like maybe skimmed over it a little bit and you just don't remember. I don't know. But I don't think I learned it until I got to college. I don't remember it in school, like from grade school to high school at all. I remember Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, and we did learn about the little church girls in Selma or in Alabama, um, and that was just a breeze too. But for Black History Month, I felt like it was just majority of the same thing each year.
That's why I think it's like really imperative to like for parents too, even if you are in a, was it a PWI? That's what we calling it now. It's just kind of like my dad. Shout out to my dad. Like we went to this bookstore called the Third World Bookstore where we read books. Like I was reading Iceberg Slim and like Malcolm X like before that was even introduced in school, and like just kind of not necessarily like yes, it's important to know the historical events, but just Black authors and just people who look like us that are doing things is just so important because it just really instills something, whether you're going into a historically Black college or not, that you should know. And this is for like every culture, like knowing about your culture. It's important. History is important.
Right. What does Juneteenth mean to y'all?
I mean, I know the importance behind Juneteenth because that's Freedom Day. That's the day where the slaves were no longer slaves. And that was our day that we made. It wasn't a day that the government was like, because this is even after slavery was abolished, then Juneteenth became a thing. So I think it's very important because it establishes something as a community that was ours. This is ours. You're not going to tell us what the fuck you want to tell us. So I think it's very important.
Well, I will say this. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I will say this. Juneteenth is actually Juneteenth because there was emancipation for slavery, so you could no longer be a slave. But Texas, keep it to Texas. Texas, we're still having slaves. Those slaves didn't get emancipated until June 19th of 17 or 1875. Ooh, 1865. No, seven is one of those. Anyways, so Juneteenth is a big day because that was actually the last part of the slaves that were enslaved to be emancipated by like law. So that's why I feel like it's our Independence Day. That's why it's important to me because I feel like we celebrate July 4th. We should be celebrating Juneteenth the same way that we celebrate July 4th because it was our ancestors, emancipation. It's when they got quote unquote freedom before you went into Jim Crow. Like quote unquote freedom before you had the 13th Amendment and then you went into Jim Crow. For people who don't know, which most of our people on here should probably know, but if you don't know with history, that's kind of how they enslaved us after they emancipated us from slavery was the 13th Amendment, and then they went into Jim Crow law. But our technical freedom from slavery, I feel like it does mean a lot although you still have that inkling to say we still have so much more work. And I feel like back then they were saying that too. We still have so much more work to do. We still have so much more. Well, not even then. I still feel like back then, even though you do have the legends who were like, we have more work to do and we have this path to follow, you had people that were just trying to survive that were Black, period. Like, even after emancipation. So it's hard to be like, yes, this means so much to me. Like, we were free, when technically, have we ever really been free as a people? So yeah, that's my take on it. Y'all tell me what y'all believe
I mean,
Juneteenth
I
means to
feel
you.
yes, but we still being in the now. Like no matter what, there's always going to be work that's going to be needed to be done. Nothing's going to be fair in life. Nothing is fair in life. You know, this place of where everybody's going to be equal. Like I don't believe in that. I don't subscribe to this. Just not what it is. However, you know, from what my grandmother went through, or my mother, or you know, beyond that, before that, to where we are right now, you know, you still appreciate the moment. And what I really love seeing, and maybe because I didn't really pay attention to it until like last year, that event that we went to, Monique, like I'm seeing people are prepping for Juneteenth events and celebrating it, and you know, in honor of, versus, you know, not doing anything at all. So I really, you know, I definitely wish that we didn't have to deal with a lot of stuff that we are dealing with in America, but there there's things that we don't have to deal with anymore, or we can actually speak on it and make things happen. So it's just kind of like it's still kind of shitty, but would I trade where I am now to be, you know, in a place where one day my child might not get home, or one day I'll get raped and nothing will happen, or one day like my family will be lynched? I'm not going to trade that. So it's just kind of one of those things where we're in a process, but I love seeing the celebrations. The celebration we went to last year was amazing. Seeing all the Black people together, wearing masks, by the way. We didn't just say, fuck it, we're out here. Wearing masks, seeing Jahan propose to his then girlfriend, now fiance, like seeing Black love, seeing a painter, just seeing all that stuff in such a small community, because it wasn't a big event, but just seeing that. And I'm just really excited to see. I'm probably going to be doing a pop-up for my company, but I'm excited to be at one, to just see, you know, Black people get together, celebrate, support other Black people. Like that's, you know, if you talk about 3 years ago, people weren't necessarily on that tip. They were saying support Black, but they weren't really, they you know, they was kind of sort of. Now it's just like, I've seen so many opportunities where people were like, oh, okay, like I like just like, oh, and like it's just great to see that. And there's so much work to do, but also just celebrate the moment of where we are, the fact that we can go out in the streets and speak on it. And yes, you know, we're still dealing with all the other horrible things, but we can still do that, and 98% of us can come home alive. You know, that's better than none of us coming home alive. So, you know, I just a daily thing, and appreciating it, and, you know, continuing with the work.
Yeah, Kiki.
Yeah, you guys touched on everything. I think I said it at the beginning. Like, it was just important because it's something that's ours, and it's something that we've established. And, you know, it's something that, like you said, TK, like it's pretty dope to see like Black people celebrating, because for years I've like heard of the word, but I didn't really know what it was. And I didn't really see the celebration that I seen last year. Like last year was phenomenal for me to see that, because I was like, yo, this is lit. Like, this is amazing. And I hope that this continues. So I think it's important, because it's definitely bringing us Black people back together and, you know, celebrating something that's ours.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely love the celebration. And like I said, I feel like the celebration has just started within the last year, to really say, oh my gosh, like Juneteenth, like F 4th of July, we're going all out on Juneteenth. And to do it during a time that we were locked up, and then there was just this little window that you could, you know, go out, and because we had hope that we would be open. But, you know, it was a great event. So me and TK went to this event that was put on by Create the Change. Shout out to them. They are an amazing nonprofit that's ran by Kevin and his wife that support all racial justice, social justice things. So it was a beautiful thing. It was like Black people, let me say, blackity, black,
All
love every,
variations.
yeah, all
So
love
beautiful.
all of it. It was good. It was high spirited. Everybody pretty much wore masks. It was very safe. It was a great event. And it was good to see that because you know, we are starting to celebrate us, and we don't need to have just Black History Month to do it. And so I feel like where I grew up, we've always just needed Black History Month. And now it's like, nah, we black all year. Like, what else can we celebrate? Like, June should be our month too. Like, people was making it the whole month. This year, I've already gotten so many things that are like, hey, you need, like, you gonna come out to my Juneteenth event. Hey, I have a Juneteenth event going on. You gonna come out to my Juneteenth event. So I think it's super dope. I love that we are celebrating us in more than just Black History Month, because that is just like, no, we're Black every day. I don't get to take this off. Y'all
Period.
celebrate so many things. Just like, we should get to celebrate our wins as well. So I'm excited about the events this year. You know, it's Hot Girl Summer, which we already talked about. It's Hot Girl Summer. So, you know, a couple of the events I'm gonna have to stop by, honey. You know, I'm out here in these streets. Oh my gosh. So what do y'all feel like, if y'all feel like y'all want to see out of non-Black people during Juneteenth?
I was gonna say something, but I was like, let me.
Don't digress.
I would love to see, people just be educated and wanting to learn, because it still baffles my mind that people are still really ridiculously like racist and ignorant. And it's like, and I say this in 2021 because we're in a place where there's technology, there's the internet, you can Google things, and people just choose to be lazy and not do that. So that's what really baffles me. So I believe in Juneteenth. I would love for people just to be educated, open-minded. If it's something you'd like to attend, do it and learn why we celebrate it. Learn why we don't celebrate 4th of July. Like, don't get on platforms and be like, oh, everyone needs to do this because it's the American way. No, it's your American way, but it's not our American way, because our people, this country's built off our backs, but this is why we don't celebrate it. So just be open-minded. Talk to your friends about it. We don't need you to be performative, because there was a lot of performances last year for Black Lives Matter and Juneteenth. We don't need the brown squares. We don't need none of that. Just come open-minded and willing to learn, because there's some things that I still need to learn about my own culture. You know what I'm saying? That I don't
Right.
know. And I'm still being educated about Juneteenth, and I'm older. So just come with an open mind and willing to learn. And, and if it's something you don't understand, don't bash Black folks for trying to celebrate it. Just say you don't understand and keep it moving.
That part.
Right. And I definitely believe that's what people need to start to understand. Don't disregard the unknown. Like, if you just don't know it, it's okay not to know, but don't bash it just because you don't know it. Ask questions. And like you said, our American way it doesn't look like your American way for many reasons, of course. But I definitely feel like when it comes to the non-Black community, show up in allyship if you want to show up. Don't do too much, though. There's a difference. There's a fine line between appreciating and appropriating. Okay. And we've had that conversation as well. There is a fine line. So show up in allyship and, like you said, Kiki, get education. This is time that you can get education too. If you go to events or you are a part of it, this is time to get educated on our community as well. So yeah.
And also, if you don't want to be part of it, then that's fine too. Like I feel like, but
That part.
it's
that part.
We have this platform now Twitter and the like, where it's just like, if you don't understand it, you feel like you're gonna keyboard warrior, like, oh well, why are they doing this? Like, you don't have to do it, and you don't have to say anything about it. Just like how you live your life, let people live their life, as long as it's not affecting your family or your money, then like live your best life. Like, I feel like sometimes people who are not Black feel almost pressured that they have to learn all this stuff, and it's like, no, like you learn it if you need to learn it or if you want to learn it. Like, I love the Hispanic culture, so there's certain things that I'm learning, I'm asking questions because that's what I want to do, and saying it's the same thing with Armenian culture. But I'm not out there every day reading a book, or else it's, one, I just don't have time, and two, it's just like, Black is being enough, so let me, I'll do it at my pace. But on the flip side, if you don't want to learn, you don't have to learn. But don't get upset if you do something wrong and you don't want to learn it, and then now you receiving backlash. Like, it's
that part.
Right. Well, if you do want to learn something, you can learn how to pleasure yourself with Lawan. Listen.
Yeah.
This personal vibrating massagers that bring unparalleled quality to a notoriously sketchy industry. Lawan originated as one hell of a classic wand. And let me tell you, if you want to learn something, you can learn to pleasure yourself, okay? In luxury. Let's talk about that. Definitely luxury. So, ladies, this is award-winning design to match your body, the flow, your energy, and has now become a full line of best-in-class, heart-pounding, hair-raising toys. So they're designed for your pleasure, your body, you and your significant other, you and your gentleman caller, you and your gentleman suitor, whoever, just you trying to sell yourself some self-love. Let me tell you, count on Lawand, and make sure you visit their website to get you some nice products. When I tell you these are good luxury products, like, you will not go back to the sex store that's in your neighborhood. That's real sketchy, okay? Go to their .com, www.lawanmassager.com, in order to learn how to pleasure yourself, or let your man or your woman or your significant other know how to pleasure you. Okay.
Yes.
Back to our segment. That was a good leeway, wasn't it?
That was good. That was good.
Okay, and then when it comes to celebrating Juneteenth nationwide, let me see what this question says. It says, is it something that can be celebrated nationwide by everyone? Josh, edit that out.
Okay.
Okay, listen, let me re-ask the question. Is it something that can be celebrated nationwide by everyone?
Yes, why not? I think this will also help the whole like the ignorant folks are like, oh, I don't know, like non-Black folks, because there are a lot of celebrations that, like, there's Jewish holidays that I don't know about and I learned about because they were a national holiday, and I took it upon myself to learn about it. I went to Catholic school. I was taught certain things. So I do believe if Martin Luther King Day, everybody celebrates it because the day is off. Why can't you celebrate Juneteenth and learn why Black people celebrate it? 4th of July is celebrated. Columbus Day. There's so many, St. Patrick's Day. There's so many beautiful things and so many beautiful holidays that I think should be nationwide, because it does give people the aspect to now learn about our holiday, like Women's History Month. There's so many different like Hispanic holidays that now I'm learning about. So many things in the AAPI, I hope I'm saying that right, community that I'm learning about. And I do think all these things should be nationwide so all of us can learn why each community celebrates it.
And if you don't want to learn, just take the day off. Like, at the, like, but
if you don't want to learn, go get paid.
No, but there's people, I mean, you have Martin Luther King Day, like you have days where, and you have days where people don't necessarily agree with July 4th, but they're taking the day off, like, or you want to work overtime, then work your overtime. But at the end of the day too, it's just kind of one of those things, like, I definitely think it should be a national holiday.
It is.
And I feel like everybody,
47 states.
yeah, I feel like everybody should say yes. And if you don't want to celebrate it, then enjoy the day with your family and call it a day. Like, who doesn't want to get paid on a national holiday while you're enjoying with your family? Like, I don't understand why some people are just so like, no, this is it's just it's like this is the black people want it, so it's bad. It's like, bro, just take the day off. Like, and then if you want to learn, there's a plethora, like legitimately how Instagram algorithms work. If you follow one person who's celebrating Juneteenth, you're gonna get inundated with a whole bunch of Juneteenth stuff. You just click on the boxes, figure it out, learn it yourself. You could celebrate it yourself. You can go to celebrations. It's all there for you. There's no reason why you shouldn't. But if you want to just chill at home, then just chill at home.
Yeah, I feel like it's now officially a national holiday as of 2019 in 47 states. And actually, Texas, who was the last to emancipate their people, made it a paid holiday. So you can go and get a pay, get your pay in Texas during Juneteenth. Yeah, what is it? Your double your holiday pay, honey. That's double pay. Um, so it is technically a national holiday. We have what 48, 49, 53 more states that need to get it together. But other than that, it's technically a national holiday. And we're celebrating like it is. I feel like when it comes to like Juneteenth, y'all need to put some respect on it anyway. Like, period. If we have the time to respect 4th of July, Memorial Day weekend, because not everybody lost family in the military. So if we have respect to do those holidays, I mean, but black people love holiday. We ain't even
Don't even need a reason.
We
just
like to celebrate a lot of things. So I don't feel like, but it's left up to the person and how they feel about it and what they want to do. Like, but don't go bashing it. Don't go. If you don't want to go to events, don't go. Like, go get your pay double time. Go get your pay. Go to work. If you don't want to take the day off, go to work.
Yeah, no
and
need for
work
negativity.
it. Okay. What are y'all excited for Juneteenth? Technically, it's past on this episode, but what are y'all excited for to see Juneteenth kind of like evolve into?
I am just
so. Oh, sorry, PK.
I'm just so happy to see. Just speaking of like a business owner, all the pop-ups that are available that I know Black people like. I'm seeing like, and the way Instagram is too. Like, I have one pop-up that I'm doing, and now I'm seeing pop-ups like in Texas and different states because they're advertising. I'm just so excited to see that because with pop-ups, there's celebrations. So I'm just excited to one, go and sell some ish, and two, celebrate, and three, make some money, and four, celebrate, and five, make some money, and six, celebrate. Like, and see beautiful Black people of different, like, I love seeing, I just love the way we are just so diverse in dress and in hairstyles, and I just love seeing the community come together and the variation of it. So I'm just excited for it all, and then making money, that one too.
I really wanted to evolve into like we do celebrate 4th of July, where you come, like it is a actual weekend that you're like everybody across the board, especially all Black people nationwide. Because I'll pick up the phone and I'll be like, "Mom, are you celebrating Juneteenth?" She's like, "No," and I'll be like, "But you going to get hot dogs and hamburgers ready for 4th of July." So I feel like across the board, for our people to make the family reunion times and we go visit our family times, and that is such a broad holiday that everybody knows. Oh, boom, Juneteenth, you taking your time off, you going to see your family, you going to get together. This is when our reunions are happening. Like, we just automatically know, because we already automatically know it about a Memorial Day weekend or a 4th of July or Labor Day weekend. Like, we automatically know. But now we can be like, yo, boom, we got something else to really celebrate, to go all out, like the event last year, and have people across the nation to really do that. Our parents, our grandparents, and be like, this is the time to really celebrate and make this a nationwide thing between us, like parades and just knowing that this is time that you're going to take off to enjoy festivities because it's a celebration. So I do want to see it evolve into a 4th of July. So like whether places you go to go get fireworks, or you see fireworks and everything. That's what I want it to evolve into.
Yeah, like I'm excited to see the progress, because I do feel like last year a lot of us came together, and I know it's probably because of all the circumstances with all the killings, and that wasn't new for us. We've been going through it since the beginning of time, but I do think, with the pandemic on top of it, it kind of forced us as a community to listen to each other more, because that's something that the Black community that we do. We say like, oh, we need to come together. We need to be one as a community. So I feel like last year was like a time where I was like, yo, this is dope to actually see us all really come together and stick up for each other and love up on each other. So that's why I'm excited to see more Juneteenth celebrations, because I feel like last year for me, because I know different cities and states, they do celebrate it in a much bigger aspect than I've seen before. But I do feel like last year was so dope. I was like, I want to see more of this. I want to see more of this. I want to see Black businesses come out. I want to see us come together, events. We're selling things. We're celebrating people, single Black men, but just us come together as a circle, a community. So I love that, and I hope going forward. And it's up. I will say it's definitely educational, because I'm learning things that I didn't know. So
Yes.
like, it's dope to see people on their social media platforms educating me. Like, and I'm tapping in and I'm reading and I'm like, oh, this is why this is important to like us, or this is why we do it. So I'm hoping going forward we continue to do that. We now have museums. We have the African American Museum in DC. I would love to see more things like that for us. We're taking down horrible statues of people who own slaves. Like, that's the shit that I want to continue seeing for Black people, because we built this country, and it's about time that, slowly but surely we are being recognized. It is not as big as, we'd like it to be, but it will be. And I think it's because people are speaking up and being like, we ain't taking this shit no more. So that's what I would love to see going forward with Juneteenth.
Right. CK?
I mean, I retweet both of y'all. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's definitely slow, but I like the direction that we're headed into. That we can speak on it, that we can have events, that we're educating ourselves, and people who don't look like us are educating themselves. So, I mean, less killing, more loving.
You know what I do want to see evolve to, now that you mentioned that, Kiki, and I think this is a great thing to say. I would like to, because it is a gathering of a lot of Black people, like, can we get some single Black men in Juneteenth so that we can get like hookups? Can we have beautiful Black love in Juneteenth again? Because you said it, TK, when
Jahan,
I forget her name. Yeah, because I know her. Isadora was proposed to by who? What's his name?
Jahan.
Okay. So I know Isadora, and she was proposed to by her boyfriend during Juneteenth. And I thought that was so beautiful. That was like the perfect time to propose to somebody.
Her name is Isadora.
Isadora.
That's wild, because we have an aunt who she passed away whose name was Isadora, and I was like, I'll never hear that name ever again in life. So the fact that you said her name is Isadora, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, her name is
That's
Isadora.
beautiful. That's dope.
Yeah. And she was proposed to on the Juneteenth stage. Well, it was on the stage at the Juneteenth event to her from her man. And it was such a beautiful moment to watch, not only us celebrate us, but to celebrate our Black love. And I don't think that we do that enough. And even though we just talked about this on the Father's Day episode, there is such a disconnect between, and we know why, there's such a disconnect between us and our Black men. And if something like Juneteenth can bring you together to really have that Black love for each other again, I mean, that would just top it off. Like, just think if you start making Juneteenth like one of those things where you're like, okay, I'm gonna wait until Juneteenth and then I'm gonna propose because it's a Black holiday. This is Black love, and it's gonna be all blackity black, black, black. And we start expecting gender reveals, proposals, weddings, all Black love stuff on Juneteenth.
That's gonna be a big holiday. We doing barbecues, weddings, gender reveals, parties. I like it. It's gonna be a full calendar. Yeah. And then Father's Day, like 4 days later. Right.
Exactly. So I feel like I wanted to get to that point as well, to really get like there, showing Black love as well. Okay, so wrapping it up, let's see, what kind of sufficient progress would y'all like to see just within the community, period?
I like the fact that we're seeing more Black-owned businesses. Definitely supporting the community and creating more of a community. I'm sure we all have stories about Black-owned banks. So I'm hoping that those stories will no longer be stories anymore, meaning that we're not going to have horrible experiences and they're, going to be doing something pretty much on the same line of the major 3 banks that we have now. I would love to see that. I would love to just see things where it's no longer Black owned. It's just another great business that's thriving, and we're not being hindered by not getting the loans and not getting, like, everybody's kind of making money and circulating within the community, just like how the Jewish people do with their community. I love to see that. I love to see, if we don't have, necessary schools for, Black kids, that we had this in Toronto where there are, places where Black kids can go and communicate with other Black kids and learn. And, there's just pretty much, I like the model that the Jewish community is doing. And I would love to see a variation of that for the Black community, and to see us thrive, and to see us own property, and to see us own businesses, and to see us, have, like Chris Rock said, he had to become this ultra big celebrity to be on the block that the guy's just the dentist. Like, I want to see where we don't have to work twice as hard. We can work hard and get to that level as well, and not be, held back, or, all that other stuff. So I would love to see that as a progression, and not for it to be so slow, because there's no reason for it to be. So that's my dream.
Biden and Kamala, let's get our reparations. That all has to deal with reparations, honestly.
You say, what do you say?
Reparations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has to deal with reparations.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, that's a whole other topic too. I mean, I definitely believe that there should be some version of it, and then also too, that's a whole. We're not going to go there, but that's
no. We need our reparations, and I feel like a lot of our progress is slower, and we have to do 10 times more work because we didn't get our reparations, and that's exactly what it just comes down to. Jewish people got their reparations. So did a lot of other cultures. They got reparations when they came to this country. We never got the reparations that we were owed, which is generational wealth. That's how you get generational wealth. Because with your reparations, you get houses, you get money enough to get business. If you want to take the equity out of your house, you can pay for college, you can pay for your business, you can pay for a lot of things. But because we don't even have our 40 acres and a mule, like at this point, y'all just playing with our emotions. And I can't even really get into politics like that, because like at the end of the day, Kamala talks about it. So we need to keep them accountable. I think for us to see sufficient progress, that's exactly what it's going to take, is for us to continue to keep our heels, our stilettos, our boots on their necks. Because at the end of the day, like Tamika D. Mallory said, policy is our love language. Okay. And if you cannot change if you're not changing the policy, if we're not getting our reparations, if we're not getting the things that we're owed, it's going to be this slow progress. But you have people that are still uneducated because people are still talking about, oh, Biden needs to do this. Biden can't do nothing unless the Senate stops stopping things. The Senate is a major holdup. It's between the House of Congress and the Senate has been the major holdup for a very long time now. And politics is so steep that this is a whole different conversation. But at the end of the day, I feel like us as a people, we have to see the sufficient progress that we want to see. We have to unite and stop trying to point the finger like, oh, you're not doing this, the government's not doing this. No, we have to be like, you know what? Let me put that to the side for the moment because it may be true. It may be true. Let me put that to the side for a moment. Let me get with stuff like create the change or, your local congressperson. Like I know my local Woodland Hills congresswoman. Okay. We follow each other. Her name is Erica. Y'all bets to be voting for her because she be out there telling the truth. And when I look at things that are, they have kept us away from policy and politics and being judges and lawyers and police officers for that very reason, because they know that if we unite together and start to change laws and policies and demanding our reparations, they won't have our whole ordeal and what we can own, what we have, what we can pass down in generational wealth will drastically change. And that's why they continue to try to keep us away from that. They try to continue. Look what they're doing in Georgia. Brian Kemp ain't only signing no, bill just because he wants to continue to be the governor. He's doing it because he saw Black people vote. They already knew the numbers we could bring in and how much that changed Georgia, all in one setting. Let me tell you, they know that is what is going to cause a major sufficient progress. So we have to continue to back people like Angela Rye and Tamika D. Mallory's and people who are on the forefront of getting policies changed and educate ourselves in politics. Dummy Trump made it a celebrity platform. Continue to follow it because we're going to need these policies changed. Because there's no reason why, and this has been the subject lately, there's no reason why the hate crime for Asians passed before the lynching bill passed for Black people. Why is that still on the floor while you hurried up and passed one for a hate crime for the Asian community? Keep on their necks. That's what's going to cause sufficient. Policy is our love language. Stop throwing distractions. We're distracted. We're easily distracted people, and a lot of people know that. And if we come together and continue to keep our foot on their necks, that's what's going to get this sufficient progress and change that we need. I know I just went into a whole speech. My bad. It's been something that me and my best friend talk about all the time because it's so true. It's just one of those things where it's like, listen, and I promote this to all of our Queendom family. Vote. As much as y'all think that it does not change, vote on your local level. No, I don't care how boring you think it is. Take 10 minutes, and while you're going down the rabbit hole of YouTube, find some videos of factual politics. One of my favorite ones, if you're a Democrat, one of my favorite ones is Brian. His name is Brian, I think, Henry. If you type in Brian, he should come up. If you type in Brian politics, he'll come up first. He's one of my favorites. He brings facts. He just lays out what the news should be doing and lays out just facts. And he'll put in some commentary, but for the majority of the part, he's just laying out facts. Like, here's what the Republican Party did. Here's what the Democratic Party did. And I feel like it's so important for us to start knowing the important things, which is these policies. That's the only reason. That's the only way we're going to be able to change. That's the only way we're going to be able to get our reparations, our reparations. I like to break it down because they need to know. That's the only way we're going to get it. That's it. Okay, Kiki, go.
I think you guys summed it up perfectly. Y'all summed it up perfectly.
Retweet.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing really more I can add. Like, I just feel like y'all said it best. Like, I feel like, um, I feel like what I've noticed lately with our community, like we've been like having the conversation and we've been holding each other accountable and we've been wanting to talk to each other and actually listen because I haven't seen that before in the past. And I do see a small change where we are listening to each other a little bit more. So I think for us, I would love to see that going forward and that continuing where we are actually listening to each other and it's being like, yo, how can we make sure another Tulsa doesn't happen again? How can we, because we know why Tulsa happened. It wasn't our fault. It's because like you said, we don't have a reparations and people didn't want to see us get further. And we had a community of people who built for us and they tore that down. And I just seen something where there's a survivor who's 107 and they didn't even get their due justice. So I love that we're educating ourselves as a people. I want more of that. Shout out to social media because there's so many different platforms. You go on TikTok, there's so many great people on there giving history lessons. Like I watch TikTok videos and I get history lessons for a lot of things. So I love that we're educating each other, we're holding each other accountable, we're holding each other's hands and we're listening. And like you ladies said, like we need our reparations, we need our holidays. And I love like let's keep saying on our necks. We getting these statues torn down, we getting these horrible flags.
Bruce Beach, their family got the Manhattan Beach back.
Yeah, like we're letting them know we're not idiots. We know our history. We know we belong here. This is our country. We built this country, and we're not playing any games. So that's what I would love to see going forward. And I love the shout out to Juneteenth because it's such a dope thing. And now, you know, because there's a lot of Black people. We're not a monolith, and we all look different, and we all come from different cultures. So there's a lot of Black people who don't even know what Juneteenth is or ever celebrated it. So I think it's also educational for our people too. So going forward, I would love to see more of that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that wraps up our episode. Thank you for tuning in, Queendom family. Queens, let them know where they can find you.
You guys can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom. And if you're a single young gentleman and you would like to celebrate Juneteenth with me, please slide in my DMs. Okay?
Gentlemen,
I love that
Kiki.
promo. Sorry, TK, go ahead.
I like that. Gentlemen, not fuck boys. You can follow me on everything. Yeah, I know. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Definitely shout out if you came to the pop-ups. Please enjoy. We have a royalty collection for Center In skincare and candles coming out. So body butters, candles, scrubs, all that good stuff. New scents. Super excited. Just Google me, TK Trinidad.
And you can find me on IG at It's Monique Loveless. And make sure you follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube at Black Queens Uncut. Follow us on all social media platforms at Queens Uncut. We drop a new episode every Wednesday. So make sure you turn on your notifications so that you can get them. Yes. And while you're just chilling in the meantime, make sure you get some good vibes by catching up on our past episodes of the beginning of season 3, which we're in now, season 2 and season 1. We are so excited to keep talking and bringing this to you, Queendom family. We love you. Thank you. And did I miss anything? Oh, make sure you check us out at blackqueensuncut.com. That's where you're going to get all your information from. We're super excited because we want to bring some new things as well. So everything will be updated on there if you want to know all the newest info and the updates. So make sure you follow, subscribe, and listen to us every week because we have some good shit. Okay. All right, Queen and Fanny, we love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.